Hey YouTube, welcome to my 2025 eggplane group build entry, and I want to thank Daniel and Tommy for continuing this great tradition. And a tip of the hat to Charlie Mack for initiating and being an awesome steward of this excellent group build over the years. So just removing those nubs and some light sanding was all it took to clean up these parts. Again, Hasegawa just makes an awesome kit. And since I'm going to display it up on a stand, I had to fix those landing gear holes. So took my usual approach with putty, followed up by super glue, and then decided I'm going to use the foil on the inside. But I'm going to take a slightly different approach, and I'm going to foil those doors and the entire inside of the cargo bay as well. So just took the bare metal foil, kind of measured out what I needed in large slabs, peeled it off carefully, and then laid it down, and then burnished it down, starting with the doors, test fit it, and then same thing on the inside of the cargo bay. Again, just placed it in there, burnished it down. So with much of the build done, I was looking at the display and this arm and the cylinder, and to me, the shuttle should be on a mission, like delivering a payload or launching a satellite, which it often did. So I looked at this and said, maybe I can have this launching of this as a satellite. So then I started looking at satellite references and came across these, and I'm like, yeah, I think I could maybe do something to reproduce something like that. So I started going through the spares and pulling things together. Came across these seats for a helicopter and thought, yeah, maybe I could turn those into something, set those aside. Also went through a lot of my spare PE and kind of played around with that a little bit. And then hit the spares box and started looking for parts that might make a good satellite dish. Again, I probably needed something a little bit stronger to support it. So then looked at some options for stronger supports or something that might hold that dish. Came across this piece and thought, yeah, that would probably look pretty good on there and give it some visual interest, if nothing else. And then I really liked these pieces, maybe sitting on there as a support, so that they would be like arms or extensions for solar panels or what have you. And then started looking for pieces that would make a good satellite dish and how I could mount those. Came across this and a few others. This is kind of what I came up with. Again, put that square rectangular piece on the inside and then pulled together these pieces to kind of make a satellite dish that would then attach to the other side. Maybe something like that. And then again, I attached those supports on the side, and we'll use those seats. And so now I'm starting on the actual construction and moving along on that. All right, I'll show you how I did this base. Basically just took these nuts. That's what I use instead of lead weights. It's pretty cheap to get a box of these at the hardware store. And as I had showed you before, I drilled a hole here. So I put a few in there and saw, how it would have clearance. And then I added a washer just to give me a little more depth, and then glued those onto there. And then same thing here, put these around, put some glue and, so let it sit like that, and built those up over that hole. And then once everything's solidified, put this in from the top, got a piece of tape ready, and then filled that up, quickly, and then put the piece of tape over, turned it back over, set it, and then got that exactly, and then let it sit overnight, and peeled the tape off, and so now that's solid. So that'll be my base, and then I'll decide how high up to go. I'm thinking probably 6 inches or whatever, and then put it on there. So that's the base. After first priming everything, I then went to my references, and on those exhausts actually used exhaust titanium and copper. Dry brushed those with the titanium, did the insides with the exhaust, and then came back with the copper in the center. and then used the gold on the center of that satellite dish as well as the boxes on the other side after masking off the framing. Having sprayed it with the transparent blue, I put that windshield in, put the nose cone on, as well as the tail, put the added detail on the inside there. I've got that strengthened and reinforced arm ready to hold the satellite. So next will be decals. And for that, I laid down a coat of Pledge, and then came back, finished that bottom with the Mr. Surfacer. Then laid down the medium gray on the wings and the nose, and then cut off that acrylic rod and mounted the whole thing on there. Then worked my way around with the decals as well as on the doors there, which you will end up not seeing. Then used that USA and a flag from my flag set here on this side of the satellite. And then my Marine One actually came with a set for a NASA helicopter, so I used a combination of those and the flag from the kit set and put those on that side. Then hit the spares, found some warning stripes and other stuff that I used on there. Came back, put those wings on, so to speak, and then put on the strengthened arm. Used those decals again to detail the astronaut and then weathered him. Then after a little experimenting, used this tape on those arms to kind of mimic solar panels, if you will, and I think it came out pretty good. Then used the silver on the astronaut's helmet, and then I'll come back with the clear yellow to make it look gold.
This is ground control to Major Tom. You've really made the grade, and the papers want to know whose shirt you wear. Now it's time to leave the capsule if you dare. This is Major Tom to ground control. I'm stepping through the door, and I'm floating in a most peculiar way, and the stars look very different today. For here am I sitting in a tin can,
All right, there it is on the shelf, and yeah, I have to start by saying thank you so much to Charlie Mack. You see the other egg planes there that I built during his years of stewardship of this awesome group build, and it is the most fun group build of the year, hands down, no two ways about it. But thank you also to Daniel and Tommy for continuing the tradition. Had a lot of fun building this, and just took the opportunity to go a little crazy and build out that satellite and actually have it doing something, and then kind of dedicating it to the one that I saw in DC with the kids, the Discovery. So just fully enjoyed that. Thank you so much again, Daniel and Tommy. So as always, hope you found that interesting. Thanks for watching, and happy modeling.